Hello, everybody, and welcome back to UCATT FC. We're here for my player ratings of Australia versus France. France 4, Australia 1, opening World Cup tie. I always do these player ratings for Manchester United games, and I thought since there's no United games for a long time, I decided I would do a little World Cup edition for Australia. Craig Goodwin struck first, and after that, it was France that ran a rampage. The second goal was completely our fault, mostly Nathaniel Atkinson, who didn't have a very good day at the office, and the rest were just simply world class from France. In my opinion, we should have lost 3-1. 4-1 was the result. What can we do? They had that many chances, they probably should have been 6-1 anyway. But here we go. Let's get into these player rankings. We're going to start off. Got a little bit of a different system here because the website I use for United, there's no website like that for Australia, obviously. So I've had to make my own graphics here. So hopefully these look good. I actually think they look alright. Starting off, we have Matt Ryan. I've already done the wrong thing. Starting off with Matt Ryan, and I'm going to give him a 5. Matt Ryan is a 5 for me. Not a very good day. I thought he probably could have done better on the first goal. All the other goals were just simply world class. I didn't think he was very confident with his feet and on the ball, but I didn't think his distribution was necessarily smart at a lot of times when France were playing the high press. So I didn't think it was an amazing day at the office for Matty Ryan. Next up, we have Nathaniel Atkinson. I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Remember, 6 is average, so 5 and 4 are both below average. He gave away the ball on the second goal. He got absolutely killed. I know it's Kylian Mbappe, but it was an absolute murder. And it was expected, but it was a murder. Atkinson... Look, I'm going to try to get these scores based on how I know these players can play and who we're playing. Atkinson is a very good player. He's a very, very good player. Starts every week in the Scottish League, I think for Hearts or Hibs. Look, I think Atkinson is a much better player than that, and I thought he could have kept up with Mbappe a little bit more, even if, I don't know. I don't think he had an amazing game. Next up, we have Harry Souttar, who is a 7. That is above average for me. I thought I'll get to it. Kai Rouse as well. He also gets a 7. Yeah, Harry Souttar and Kai Rouse absolutely saved our asses for most of that game. That centre-back partnership is absolutely phenomenal. Souttar, kind of nicknamed, in international football at least, and in club football, not club football for this man, but Harry Maguire, the Australian Harry Maguire. He's very slow, but he gets his head onto the ball. He does what he needs to do, and he's a very, very good player, especially at international level. Souttar and Rouse has also got the pace of as a centre-back. They just saved our asses for most of that game when France loaded us up with 21 shots. They did as much as they could, and most of the goals weren't their fault. They were either just world class or they were someone else's fault. So yeah, I thought Souttar and Rouse both had great games. I did all that they could do. As is Beach, he gets a 5 for me. Wasn't as bad as Atkinson. I didn't think he had a great game though. I didn't think our fullbacks really stepped up a lot. It's not like we have a lot of choice at fullback though. Bates is a very experienced Australian player, and no doubt he'll continue to bring that experience throughout the tournament, and he has to play. But yeah, he got murdered again by Ousmane Dembele, who is a superstar for Barcelona, a superstar for France, one of the brightest talents in the world. But Bates just could not keep up with him whatsoever. Whether that's being just not, it's just what probably just wasn't made for it, number one, and also Dembele is one of the world's best. Like, I'm not gonna give Bates too much shit for this game. He did do some things okay, but for the most part got murdered defensively. Next up, we have Aaron Moy, who gets a 7 from me. He hasn't had a very good 2-3 years, I'll say that very much. Can't really get a game at Celtic. He's been very poor for Australia. Formerly one of our absolute superstars running the midfield, and he's never had pace, we'll be honest. He's never had pace. He did not have pace today, but he kept the ball moving through the midfield, which I thought was really important throughout stages of the game. It was very clean with the ball. These little one-touch passes were really good from him. I thought he was probably our brightest spark in this game, Aaron Moy. Next up is Riley McGree, who gets a 6. I didn't notice Riley McGree a lot, to be honest. Just sort of went under the radar. That's an average 6. He didn't really do anything. He did what he needed to do. He probably could have brought more to the table, but really he had no chances to. He probably gets a 6 from me. Jackson, again, about Riley McGree, he had a very attacking role and the ball didn't get that much up the pitch. Jackson Irvine, he also gets a 6. He put in a few really, really good challenges. He kept the ball moving pretty well. I just didn't think he was at that 7 standard that Aaron Moy was at today. Yeah, Irvine gets a 6 for me. He had an okay game. I'm not going to complain about it. One of our better players, to be honest. Craig Goodwin gets a 7. I mean, I didn't actually think he had an amazing game, but he struck first. He scored our first outfield World Cup goal since 2014. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous that goal was. And Matthew Leckie, take about Matthew Leckie. That was superb. His little footwork to get around that French, I think it was Hernandez, who then went down injured. Yeah, Leckie, great bullying. Goodwin with the great finish. Goodwin was okay on the ball. He didn't do a lot, but I think he has to get a 7 for the goal. Next up, I believe, is Matthew Leckie. If this will fucking work, thank you. Next up, Matthew Leckie. He also gets a 7. I thought he was really good on the ball today, Matthew Leckie, and that assist was a cherry on top before the cake was even made because it was really early on. Leckie, really good game in my opinion. That assist I cannot talk about enough. To get rid of Lucas Hernandez, you've got to remember how good Lucas Hernandez is. He is a ridiculous player, and he just put him down injured. Not that that's good, but his footwork to get around him, I thought he was absolutely amazing, Matthew Leckie. Apart from that goal, he didn't do a lot, but he was really comfortable on the ball. And that's not really his fault. We just didn't get the ball high enough up the pitch. And that's the reason why Aaron Moy had such a good game, because the ball was so deep the whole time. France playing that high line, he just kept the ball moving. And there was some players that just couldn't get it rolling all the way through that final third. Mitch Duke, he gets a 6. It was a hard day for Mitch Duke. He had the physicality that was needed. He showed a bit of aggression in the end, a bit of frustration, I guess. It was a bit of a graveyard shift. We couldn't really get the ball that far down the pitch. Now moving on to the bench, I believe Miller. We can just roll through this. Miller Steganek 6 wasn't on for a lot. Awoma Bill 6. He was on the ball for quite a bit, but I can't really give him. These are all just average 6s. Garant QL 6. Good to see him get some game time. Hopefully he gets some more against Denmark and Tunisia. Jason Cummings 6. Again, a little bit of a graveyard shift. Got on the ball a few times, to be fair. Keanu Backus 6. He came on really, really late. Graham Arnold, he gets a 6 from me. I'm very critical of Graham Arnold. I thought he probably should have made the Backus substitution a little bit earlier. I think Cummings or McLaren probably should have came on a little bit earlier. But overall, he did what he could do with tactics. We were playing France at the end of the day, and I think it was the worst game of the world from Graham Arnold. I was one of the people saying Arnold should go before the World Cup, but we've stuck with him, and he had a pretty good game against France, to be honest. My man of the match, that goes to Aaron Moy. I think Aaron Moy is my man of the match. Yeah, just kept the ball rolling through midfield. Really, really solid performance. Matthew Leckie's probably another contender. The other contenders would definitely be probably in second place. Tied is Kai Rouse and Harry Suter. I thought they both had phenomenal games. But I thought Aaron Moy, he's my man of the match. Kept the ball rolling. Yeah, great game from him. And hopefully he can start getting back to his best against Denmark and Tunisia. Like he showed a glimpse of it tonight against France. And I think Moy had a particularly amazing game. It was just Australia didn't have a particularly amazing game. We got beaten by the world champions, which was probably expected. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all for some more UCATT FC streams throughout the week. And double header tonight, by the way. Tonight, Croatia, Morocco, early game. Germany, Japan, the later game. Tune in for that. And I'll be live again for Tunisia, Australia on Saturday. Up the Aussies. Yeah, decent performance. Up Craig Goodwin. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what this team can do in the future. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Sub to UCATT FC.